good morning, and good morning to you from all over the world. My name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor, founder of the Marriage Seal Academy, and you're welcome to this week's Friday Live. This week, we are having a very, very interesting topic as usual. And for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, every Friday, we come here and teach you one thing about marriage. It has been on for several years, and we've had several people gaining so much from it. So put it there in the comment section if you are here, and if you can hear me, if you can see me, put it there in the comment section to say, I can hear you, I can see you. I want to see about 100 people putting it there so that I'm sure that I'm reaching out to everybody in the world. And it's so exciting to be here. You know, I've always said that there's a lot to learn in marriage. Marriage is an entire institution, a complete institution with departments, with regulations, with policies, procedures, with systems and how they work. And so it is very important that you learn what you need to do to make your marriage good. I've been married now for 16 years, and 16 years has been 16 beautiful years, getting better every year. Both of us working together, my wife and I, and seeing how we are able to achieve the things that we are supposed to achieve, and we are achieving them because we have the skills to do that. We had a lot of learning. I was telling people recently in a teaching, I said, before we got married, my wife and I read 6 books, almost 7 books on marriage. That's before we got married. How many did you read? How many have you even read now that you are married? So you need knowledge. You need the right knowledge to be able to actually get the best out of your marriage. And I can see every one of you here saying good morning. Let's see who was the first person to join here. Cordelia, all the way from the UK. How are you doing, Cordelia? All right, you are here seated and waiting for this class to start at 10:55, and I greet you. I greet you, Jamila Biodun. I greet you. I greet you, Baby Sola. How are you doing? And everyone else who is here saying hello. I see every one of you, and I greet you. So let's dive into the matter. Now, before we dive into the matter, we need to actually bring everybody we know to this place. Remember what I have always said, and I will say it again today. I'm not going to get tired of saying it. I will keep saying it and saying it so that it sticks and you begin to implement. Remember that if the marriages around you are bad, your marriage is at risk. I was expecting that somebody would have put it there in the comment section, you know, before I even said it, because you know that I'm always saying this, and it's the truth. If you look around to your left, to your right, to your front, to your back, and everybody that surrounds you, or some of the people that surround you have bad marriages, your marriage is already at risk. You are like a good egg in a crate of bad eggs. It's just a matter of time. You also, as that good egg, will become bad. By the time the people around you begin to tell you the stories of woe of their marriage, very soon you begin to look around and you begin to ask, are you sure that my marriage is not also going through the same thing? So please make sure you invite a minimum of 10 people. That's our rule here. Anytime you are coming on, just send the link to a minimum of 10 people. Don't only send the link, follow up to make sure that every one of them actually joins in. You have colleagues right there in the office where you are sitting. Just tell them to put in their earphones and log in, you know, just join in. And for those of you who are not yet subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to this channel, the Marriage Seal Academy by Kunle Ologe, so that you can get all our videos, and click the notification button to be sure you get the videos. Let's now dive into what we have today. And today we have why couples fight about the same thing over and over again. Why? Why do couples actually fight over the same thing over and over again? That's what we're going to be looking at today. Now, one of the most common frustrations in marriages is the feeling of being stuck in a loop. The feeling of being stuck in a loop. And what this means is that it just looks like you are replaying a particular bad incident over and over again. Then it starts again, then you replay it. Then it starts again, then you replay it. After a while, you get tired of this loop. After a while, you get frustrated. After a while, you feel like nothing is working again in your marriage. It may be a loop about money, it may be about intimacy, it may be about how you raise your children, it may be about anything in marriage. It becomes exhausting after a while, and it begins to affect your marriage. That affects the fabric of that relationship. It begins to affect even things like intimacy in your marriage. So this is why it is very important for you to get out of that loop and get all the information you need to get out of that loop. Very, very important. So we need to understand why this reoccurrence. Why is it that there's a particular thing people are always fighting about, slippers in the kitchen or slippers in the bedroom or toothpaste not being pressed the right way or children going late to school or somebody spending money without letting the other person know. You know, the same thing over and over again. That loop needs to be broken. That loop must be broken. So let's find out why. And that's the core of what I'm going to be teaching you today, the why. Why does this happen? Because you see, when you know why this problem happens, you are already on your way to resolving it. But if you don't know the why, then you're just going to struggle and continue being frustrated. So let's find the why. Why do couples fight about the same thing over and over again? And I want you to follow me closely. Have you invited somebody? Have you invited 10 people yet? Once you've invited 10 people, please put it in the comment section that I have invited 10 people, right? Let's move on. The first reason we'll be looking at why couples fight about the same thing over and over again is unresolved core issues. Unresolved core issues. So something happened and there was no resolution of it, and you move on. So we need to find that thing. Now, you see, as a counselor, I find out sometimes that when we're looking for why something has happened, I realize that when there's a conflict, I realize that the conflict is not about the thing that happened immediately there. The conflict is usually about something that happened in the past that was not resolved. So a lesser conflict triggers it, and then when that happens, you now find out that the thing of the past is what you are really deliberating on, not what happened today. So one partner may be feeling unappreciated about something that they did or unsupported. And then eventually the underlying emotional need is not addressed. So you find out that you have the same arguments about the same thing over and over again because that thing was not addressed. This is a very, very important point. I was talking to a couple sometime last year. The man is about 70, in his mid-70s, let's just put it that way, and the woman is in her early 70s. And as I had the conversation with them, the woman brought up something that happened when she was pregnant for her first baby. That's 40-something years ago. And that thing was still hurting her up to today. And she said that anytime she remembers that thing, anytime the husband does something and she remembers that thing that happened, she gets even more angry. Can you see how unresolved core issue? Because for her, that was a core issue. Let me quickly say here, what is a core issue for your spouse may not be a core issue for you. What is a core issue for you may not be a core issue for your spouse. one thing you must learn is don't belittle the issue of your spouse. For you, it may be nothing. For your spouse, it may be everything. So don't belittle the core issue of your spouse. I beg you, this is very, very important. Unresolved core issues. The second reason we'll be looking at why there's reoccurring fights in a marriage is poor communication habits. In fact, this one should have even been the first. Poor communication habits. Communication is the core of any marriage. It sits in the middle. If you have poor communication habits, you are going to have issues definitely that will be unresolved. Let's look at some of these poor communication habits. Being defensive, blaming the other person always, raising your voice when you are talking. I was having a session recently, and the man was complaining that the woman was being rude, and the woman was saying, no, I'm not being rude. I'm just stating things. I just like to say things. I don't like to cover up things. And I had to tell the woman that, you see, sometimes when you say you are just stating the fact as it is, you've actually crossed that line between being assertive and being rude. There is a thin line between being assertive and being rude. It's a very, very thin line. Someone should put it there in the comment section. There is a thin line between being assertive and being rude. Being assertive is being able to push out your points to the other person in a way that is concise and that the person can understand, without hiding things, without sweeping things under the carpet, being what you call in layman's term, being frank. But in the region of being frank, sometimes you become rude and you insult your spouse with the manner of speaking. Some people have even told me, no, I was so angry that time. And I asked such people, when you are in the office and you are so angry with your colleague or your boss, how do you handle it? Do you raise your voice? The answer usually is no. You find a way to handle it maturely and officially. Because if you shout, like where I used to work before, physical violence was a no-no. I used to work in the bank. So once there's any case of physical violence, just know you are going. So it's a no-no. You can't say I was angry and I slapped, or even I shouted on my boss. It's not allowed. So you control yourself at work, but when you get home, all of a sudden, you say, I was so angry, that's why I shouted. I was so angry, that's why I said nasty words to my husband or to my wife. There is a thin line between being assertive and being rude. I want you to write it down. You have a notebook, right? You have a notebook, your notepad, whatever it is you're using right now. Write this down, because for some of you, this is the main issue. You are actually being rude to your spouse and you claim that you are being frank. Two different things. Two different things. So poor communication habits, like not listening to understand, but listening to respond, it will affect your marriage. They will cause fights to happen over and over again. You know, when we talk about not listening to respond, I mean, not listening to understand, but listening to respond. When you listen to your spouse, are you actually trying to hear what your spouse has said and understand it? Or are you just listening and keeping quiet because you don't want to be termed as being rude or interruptive? So you allow your spouse to finish talking, but you are not even, you're not paying attention to anything he or she is saying. You're just waiting for that spouse to finish talking, and then you bring your own. So it now becomes talk, I talk. Talk, I talk. When will the talking stop? So everybody is bringing up their hard reasons. Nobody is listening. That's very poor communication habit. Very poor communication habits. So you must understand that when you have poor communication habits, you will have fights over and over again because you've not learned to communicate. There are some of you here who have taken my course, Improving Communication in Marriage. If you've not taken that course, please reach out to the number that is scrolling on the screen and take the course. It will help you. It will help you to build communication habits. It will help you to build good communication habits. And Cordelia says, and these words are never forgotten. It keeps playing over and over again in your head. Yes, those bad words, they keep playing over and over and over again. So poor communication. In fact, you see this particular reason, this poor communication habits, that is one of the core reasons why you're having fights over and over again. So many people don't know how to communicate. They don't know what to communicate. They don't know when to communicate. That course, Improving Communication in Marriage, handled this. And of course, my latest book, What Your Spouse Is Not Telling You, also talks about communication. This book is an A to Z on communication. I know many of you already have your copies. It was launched in May of this year. If you don't yet have your copy, please reach out to the numbers on your screen. They will tell you how to get your hard copy, your soft copy from anywhere in the world. It's on Amazon and it's everywhere. So you should be able to get it from anywhere in the world. And we have distributors all over where you can get it from. So communication habits. If you have bad communication habits, please accept it and change. There's a thin line between being assertive and being rude. Let's move to the third reason why fights happen over and over again. The third reason is emotional baggage. Emotional baggage. A lot of us are carrying around emotional baggage. We're carrying around things that happened to us before we even got married. Some of us were molested, both physically and emotionally, and we carry that baggage into marriage. And so when there's a trigger, when your spouse does something that reminds you of what you went through, you go off. Do I have a witness? Emotional baggage. A lot of people have come to me in counseling, and then while we're having the session, I'm able to decipher that the problem that they're actually having is that they're carrying emotional baggage around and bleeding on people that didn't cut them. Are you bleeding on your spouse who didn't cut you? He was not there when this thing happened to you. He didn't even know you. But every time he does something wrong, it triggers. She was not there when you are treated like a slave. So how come every time she just says, can you help me do this, you just explode? That explosion is questionable. You are carrying a lot of emotional baggage around. And these baggages, some of you are carrying, you've carried it from childhood, from when you are a little boy or you are a little girl. And now anything your spouse does, you interpret it based on the emotional baggage. Number 4, a difference in values and expectations. A difference in values and expectations. Everybody is a product of the values that you got growing up. And unless you on your own personally decided to develop yourself, you will find out that the values you got growing up are the values you bring into marriage. When there's a difference in these values, these value sets, there will be a problem in your marriage. Let's give a practical example, can we? So let's assume that you come from a home as a husband. You come from a home where obeying rules is a very, very important thing. So you came from a home where when your dad was driving, maybe you grew up in Abuja. Let's use Abuja and Lagos. Please, you people should not fight with me on this one. This is just an example. So let's use Abuja and Lagos. So you grew up in Abuja where, traffic rules must be followed. And then your wife grew up in Lagos where traffic rules should be followed, but a lot of people don't follow the traffic rules. Now, that is already a value system. This is part of the value system of obeying rules, right? So you get married. And then you are driving. You people are driving somewhere. And maybe you are late for the event. The husband is driving, the wife is sitting beside him. And you get to a traffic light. And it's maybe it's in the evening or it's in the night. There's no other person coming. But you stop because you obey. And your spouse wondering, why are you stopping? Can we be going? We're in a hurry. When we're late. Can you just beat the traffic light and move? Then you start quarreling on top of just that thing. Because one person is obeying rules. The other person feels we don't really need to obey rules. Can you see where the value system is affecting? Then also expectation. Some people expect one thing in the marriage and the other spouse expects the other thing in the marriage, and you get into the marriage and your expectations are not met. And so every time that there's a quarrel, it now becomes a quarrel of expectations instead of a quarrel of the things that are actually on ground. So different values and expectations will actually cause you to have fights over and over again about the same thing. Is somebody following me? Am I hitting the right buttons here? Am I reflecting some of the things that are happening in your marriage? Put it there in the comment section. Let me be sure that you are following. And I'm pausing here also to ask you, have you invited somebody? I know some of you just joined us, so you didn't join us from the beginning, where we had said that as usual, can we invite 10 people? Even your colleagues that are there around you, invite 10 people to watch what you are watching right now. Your colleagues, tell them to put in their earphones. We're going to be done by 12. So it's a very, very short but very impactful session. So invite 10 people. And when you've invited your 10 people, just put it there in the comment section. I have invited 10 people. And yes, I see people already saying that I have invited. Great, great, great. So share with 10 people this link so that they can come and learn the things that we're saying here. It's important because at the beginning I said that if the marriages around you are bad, your marriage is at risk. Difference in values and expectations. When we talk about this difference in values and expectations, because it's a very important thing, a lot of people really have very high expectations, and a lot of people are not able to meet those expectations because the expectations are high. Imagine a working woman and a working man, and the man gets home every day, probably gets home before the woman, and the woman gets home late. He sits, crosses his leg in the parlor, and the woman is slaving away in the kitchen, trying to prepare food for him, and he's still shouting on her, saying that the food is late. That expectation is a little bit high. Because your wife has gone to work just like you. Yes, she's in charge of nutrition of the family. So it is part of her duty to ensure that nutrition is provided. But it doesn't mean that she must do everything. You should be able to even walk into the kitchen and say, let me even help you cut some of the tomato. And even gist with her, even if you are not doing anything, have a conversation with her while she's there trying to prepare the meal for both of you or for the entire family. But if you expect that she's going to come back and she's going to become superwoman and be able to achieve everything just like that, then you are actually being unfair. So high expectations. And Egonor says the quarrels of expectation is so real. That's when you hear words like the package I ordered versus what I got. The package I ordered versus what I got. And hello, Mr. Ayo, all the way from Japan. How you doing? Happy that you joined us here. Good morning from this side of the world. You know, you guys are 8 hours ahead of us. So it's already like evening in your own part of the world. All right, let's move on. The next one, number 5, is a lack of forgiveness and closure. Remember, we're talking about why couples fight about the same thing over and over again. A lack of commitment, a lack of forgiveness and closure. When your spouse has wronged you, you must learn to forgive your spouse, especially when your spouse has apologized for the things that have been done. A lot of people have a problem forgiving. And you know, this problem of forgiving has a lot to do with your background. Check it. Either your father and your mother didn't used to forgive. And so you imbibe that culture. And when somebody has done something to you wrong, you ensure you keep it in your heart. You get so angry, you get so boiled up, so livid, and you refuse to forgive. And so the person thinks that all is well. So your spouse thinks that all is well. That your wife thinks that you've forgiven her. She's going around, but you're still keeping it in your heart. And she just does one trigger. It's like you set a trap for her. She just does this thing. You pour out all the fire. All the venom comes out. And she's wondering, is it this small thing that you are shouting about? Or is there something else? It's because you've not forgiven her for the one that she did before. You need to learn to forgive and have closure, especially when the person has apologized. I'm hampering on that because sometimes some people don't forgive because the other partner just feels, I've not done anything, so I don't need to apologize. That's bad. When you've done the wrong thing, please apologize. You know, recently in the Couples Conclave, and by the way, if you're asking what the Couples Conclave is the 11-month program of the Marriage Seal Academy. So recently in the Couples Conclave, we were talking about this issue of being able to let go. You must be able to let go so that you can find closure. Because if you don't let go, you will not find closure. You will continue to hold hard those things that you are supposed to actually let go of. I'm going to play you a video right now as we continue in this session today. And it will show you what we're talking about when I'm talking about people who don't forgive, also don't forget. Some forgive, but they refuse to forget. Yes, I know you may not be able to forget entirely, but when we say forget in this context, we mean let go. Don't keep bringing it up. Watch this clip. Don't go away. Watch this clip, and then we will continue immediately after this.
Ini, you are here. Welcome.
Daddy, yes, I am. Daddy, I just remember something. Remember those days when you used to fight with Chinedu for me? Those days. Such a good time.
Honestly.
I used to call him Naboy and you used to pepper him.
That guy did not want me to just take you off your feet.
I know how time flies, really. Oh my God.
I need to drink. Comfort! Where is this girl? Comfort!
Yes, Daddy, I'm coming. I remember something. Remember 15 years ago when I told Comfort to help me go down the shop to help me get something.
You don't used to forget.
I don't used to forget, and you told her not to go.
Yes, I remember. It's just that she came running to me in the kitchen.
You told her she has to finish washing the dishes before she could go. I felt like my wants were not seen.
Well, I didn't know it was urgent. I thought we could finish the chores first.
It was important to me at that time. And yes, I still remember it like it was yesterday. It's strange how little things can leave scars behind.
We would have talked about it properly. Maybe we wouldn't have carried it this long.
Some arguments don't end. They just hide in our hearts. But it's never too late to leave. Join resolving conflicts in marriage and learn how to forgive, let go, and embrace peace in your home. See you there.
Okay. So, did we see that clip? Did we watch it? Did you see that lovely drama where the wife remembered something that had happened? And can you see how it changed her countenance immediately? Obviously, she had not really forgiven her husband for that thing. How many of us are in this kettle? How many of us are holding on to things? Some of us have been married that are here, have been married for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You are still holding fast onto that thing that your spouse did at the beginning, on your wedding day, on your wedding night, at the first time you visited the family. You need to learn to forgive and let go. Did we watch the video? I need comments on that video. What do you think? Someone should put it there in the comment section. What do you think about that clip? Just put a comment on it and let's see how you saw it. So a lack of commitment and closure is one very big cause of reoccurring fights in marriage. The next one, control and power struggles. Yes, my big brother, Pastor Matthew, say it is still painful to her after 15 years. Yes, it's still painful to her. 15 years has passed. It's still hurting her because it was not discussed. The conflict was not resolved properly. When you don't resolve conflicts and have conversations and close those conversations and you sweep things under the bed, these are the kind of things that happen. Someone says, this is happening with older couples a lot. I can relate. My parents sometimes sound like this. Yeah. Things that were not properly discussed. And that's because they didn't have the skills that they needed. Someone says, forgiveness is a big topic. I agree with you. Someone says, if you have a spouse who never forgets and taunts you with it in every conflict, how do other couples keep sane? Very good question. And that's why the course that was shown immediately after this video, I'm going to talk about it before we end, is a course that every married couple must attend. Jamila says if the husband wasn't emotionally intelligent, that small talk would have been a real deal. I agree with you. That was a very emotionally intelligent husband. Mokbe says we can't forget, but when we remember, how do we feel, I guess. Very true. Teaching us to have difficult conversations with my spouse. I know better now. Very good. Happy to hear that. Communication is a learned skill. True. So this has some of the things that happen. Somebody says, what if the person apologized and keeps doing it over and over again because he feels he is the head? Then that person needs to actually come for counseling. That person has not renewed his way of doing things. So let's continue and let's begin to see how we can start rounding up this session today. So the sixth reason why you have recurring fights is control and power struggles. Control and power struggles. Look, this is a real thing. People don't like to admit it, but it happens in a lot of marriages where there is, control. You are struggling for control. You are struggling for power. Very, very critical thing that happens a lot. So you see people trying to feel that I'm the one who should have the final say. They want to decide everybody wants to decide how money is spent. Everybody wants their own career to be a priority. You feel, why do you talk down on my career? My career is bigger than yours. Everybody wants to have the final say in parenting. This is the way we should parent our children. The other person says, no, if you are the one saying it, then I will also bring my own way. This is the way to parent. So the dynamics are not balanced with respect. And of course, the same battles happen over and over and over again. So you must understand that there are silent power struggles in many marriages, where everybody is trying to be the one who is projecting self over the other person. You need to understand that marriage is not about independence, but independent your husband. Let's continue. And oh, my beautiful yellow wife is here. Silent power struggles indeed. Yes. Silent power. All right, so we're back. We're back. Sorry about that. Don't know what happened to the network, but we are back right now. Please confirm if you can hear me and you can see me. Just confirm. Can you hear me and can you see me? Confirm to me. All right, great. I have a confirmation here from my team members. So that means we're back on. So I was just talking about control and power struggles, and I said this is real in many marriages. And we need to actually admit it when we're having these struggles and stop the struggle. We need to stop it. There's a hierarchy. The man is the head of the home. That hierarchy needs to be followed. As the head of the home, you also as a man, don't be irresponsible and don't lord it over your family. Also learn to do it lovingly. There's no struggle over the hierarchy. Once you begin to struggle over hierarchy, you have issues in the marriage. So learn how, that the man is the head of the home doesn't mean that the man should now prioritize everything of his over the wife. No. That's not what I mean. An order. I've always said it. I've listened to me. I've said that in my own home, my wife brings all the suggestions. My own is just to approve. My wife means all the suggestions. My own is just to approve. Someone says, Chidima says, he has never wished me a happy birthday for the past 10 years of marriage, and he keeps doing it, always keeping malice during my birthday. I keep forgiving, but I will not again because I always celebrate him. Okay, so let me quickly address this, Chidima. It is very possible that your husband grew up in a family where birthdays were not celebrated. I don't know the peculiarity of your own case. I'm just giving you a possibility. If he grew up in such a setting, for him, celebration of birthdays may not be a priority. So that's his background working. I'm not saying it's right not to celebrate. I'm just saying you need to have an understanding. Everybody is coming from a background. And if you are in the couples conclave, I mean, that's what we dealt with. Last month, we dealt with background. Every month in the couples conclave, we deal with a particular matter. We dealt with background last month. This month, we're dealing with legacy. Living a legacy of marriage, of a good marriage to your children. If you're not part of the couples conclave, please make haste to register for the 2026 one. Registration started since, and people have registered. Make haste to register for 2026 so that you are not left behind. So this might be one of the reasons he's not celebrating. So before you throw in the towel and say, I will also not celebrate, no, two wrongs don't make a right. So what you should do, Chidima, the numbers that are on your screen, please reach out to them, book a counseling session, come and sit down with me. Let's have a proper conversation about what is really happening in your marriage, and then we'll be able to take it up from there. Okay? All right. Great. I hope I addressed that. Let's see. Okay. Somebody says, I suggest to my wife not to spend 3.5 million on vacation for now. We need the money for other expenses ahead of us. She disagreed because she owns the money. This is usually our issue. I call this pride. Now, people like you, sir, should be in the front row of the course that is happening next week. Next week on Friday and Saturday, we have the course Resolving Conflicts in Marriage. Resolving conflicts in marriage is going to be a 2-day course where we're going to be discussing how to resolve conflicts in your marriage. And that's the flyer for the course up there. This is a course everybody who is listening to me now and all your friends and family must sit down, because what Edu class has brought up is a very serious matter, a matter on finance. And that's a conflict you are having. You must not sit down and assume that the conflict will go away like that. You must actually learn the skills to be able to have this conversation with your wife so that both of you can be on the same page. There are a lot of things that are happening in your marriage. You've just brought up the matter here. We've not heard from her own side. We need to also hear from her own side. However, to have this conversation very well, you need to learn skills. So make sure, sir, and everybody that is listening to me, that you register for this course. It's just 20,000 naira for a 2-day course. You can't find that anywhere else. For a 2-day course that will teach you the skills that you are going to need to actually resolve every conflict in your marriage. So please reach out to the numbers on your screen and register for this course. It will do your marriage a big deal. All right, so let's wrap up now. Let's wrap up now. We need to wrap up now, okay? Let's wrap up now. Now, understand that all these things that I have said that cause the conflicts reoccurring again and again, they can be managed. Things can be done to resolve these conflicts. Here are a few of the things that you need to do. And I'm just going to be mentioning these things in passing. I need you to come for this course, Resolving Conflicts in Marriage, so that we can sit down. And that's why it's a 2-day course. So we meet every day, 8 p.m. and it's online like this. So you can watch it from anywhere in the world. And if your time will not permit, you can watch a replay of it. We already have hundreds of people who have already registered for this course. Come and also join and register for the course so that you will learn how to uncover the real reasons behind recurring conflicts in your marriage. You will master calm and respectful communication during tough conversations. You will learn practical steps to de-escalate and resolve heated arguments. You will also rebuild connection and intimacy after every disagreement. You will get a free guide. We're giving you a free guide. This guide costs money on our online store, but we're giving it to you free. And that guide is the 10-minute calm down plan for heated arguments. So you get, as long as you've registered for that course, immediately after the course, you get this guide for free, so you don't pay for it. All this and many more are the things you will get in the course Resolving Conflict in Marriage. Like I said, reach out to the numbers that are on the flyer or the ones scrolling on the screen. Just put conflict. Just type conflict and they will reach out to you and send you all the details that you need to actually get into that course. So how do you break this circle of recurring fights in your marriage? Number one, identify the root cause. You see just how Chidima brought up that matter and how Edu brought up his own matter. There is a root cause to these things. They just didn't happen. There is something that caused these things to happen. That something is what you need to actually find out. So you need to be able to identify the root cause of this issue. What you are seeing on the surface are just the symptoms. The real cause is something you need to identify. You can't identify it if you don't have the skills to identify it. That's part of what you're going to be learning in this course. How do I identify the root cause? How? The next thing you need to do to break the cycle is that you need to improve communication. Look, communication in marriage is core. I don't know how better to say it and how hard to say it. If you don't know what to communicate, when to communicate, how to communicate in marriage, you are going to have issues in that marriage. Doesn't matter your intention about the marriage, you will have issues in the marriage because communication is a core part of marriage. So you must improve communication. Stop saying that is the way I talk. Stop it. I hear people saying that's the way I talk. My voice is always loud. Your voice is always loud, but when you're in front of military checkpoint, your voice is not loud. That tells you something. That tells you that you can control that your voice. You can learn to bring your voice down. Don't say, oh, in my household, that's how all of us talk. We are always very frank. Meanwhile, you are being rude. Don't say, well, when I get angry, you see, I don't like to talk to anybody, so I just stay quiet. That's keeping malice, sir. Ma, it's called keeping malice. You are staying quiet, and your staying quiet is not 5 minutes. 6 hours, you are quiet. 2 days, you are quiet. 1 week, you are quiet. Sir, that's keeping malice. It's not you being quiet. You are not thinking over anything. The thinking is okay. Start speaking what you are thinking. So, I mean, I'm just picking things. When we get to the course, we'll sit down and discuss these solutions properly. And I'll give you step by step on what to do when you have a conflict, how to actually sit down and talk about the conflict. The next thing you need to do is you need to agree on shared values. You can't have different values in a marriage. I know you came with different values, but in the marriage, you must both sit down and harmonize your values to one value. On every single item, have one value on it. So create an entire value system. This is very important. Look, you can't do these things without conversations. You can see where communication is coming in again. You must communicate with your spouse. You cannot assume that your spouse should know. That's evil. Your spouse is not a spirit now that she can know or he can know what is in your mind at every point in time. Please agree on shared values. This is very, very important. The next thing you need to do is practice forgiveness. I've told people that before I got married, I pre-forgave my wife. So there's hardly anything that she will do that I will now hold on and say, I cannot forgive you. No, I've already pre-forgiven her. So when she does anything, I just tell her, this is what you have done to me that I'm not happy about. We have a conversation, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we are done. But that's because we have the skills. So don't say, oh, don't leave here now and say, well, coach said 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we are done. Your own may take more than that. We have done this over 16 years. We have learned the skills. So we don't have elongated conflicts. So learn the skills you need to practice forgiveness. And also learn how to change. Because your wife or your husband can't forgive you for something and then you do the thing again and do it again and do it again. No. That one now is now being evil. Yes, you're being evil. So practice communication, practice forgiveness, practice change. Now, all of these are the things that we're going to discuss in details in the upcoming course. Because resolving conflicts in marriage is held once every year. So once we hold it this August, we won't hold it again till next year. What it means is that if you don't attend this August, you may be battling with that your conflict till next year. That's not a nice thing. Conflicts should not linger. Conflicts should not go more than 24 hours. If you've not heard it before, hear it from me. Conflicts should not go more than 24 hours. Within 24 hours, your conflict should be, in fact, before you cross a night, every conflict must be resolved same day. That's the practice. That's God's standard. He says we should not let the sun go down on our anger. That's God's standard. So please, if you've not yet registered for this course, I want to appeal to you. This is for your own good. You see, we've made the course so cheap. And this 20,000 is for a couple, husband and wife. 20,000. Just 20,000 covers husband and wife. How many of us have registered for this course? Let's start with that. If you've registered for the course Resolving Conflicts in Marriage, put it there in the comment section that I have registered. If you've not yet registered for the course Resolving Conflict in Marriage, also put it in the comment section, I have not registered yet. Put yet because we know you register. We're saying you should say so that you will be prompted to do the right thing, because some of you will forget immediately after this and you won't register. And when the course is done, that's when you say, oh, there was a course that was supposed to happen. So let's see. Oh, okay, I can see people saying we have registered. We have registered. If you've registered, please put it there. Put it there in the comment section. I have registered, or we have registered. If you've not yet registered, put it there. We have not yet registered. So I can see we have registered. Who else has registered for the course? Please put it there in the comment section so that we can see. In conclusion, couples fight about the same thing over and over again because they are not because they are doomed, but because something beneath the surface has not been attended to. So you need healing. You need discussion. You need to be able to actually go out there and have the conversations with your spouse. And I see some of you who are being honest saying we have not yet registered. I'll do that this evening. That's great. And that's why I'm telling you it's a prompt. I know that you want to register, but so many things catching your attention. But this is so important, because if you learn how to resolve conflicts, you will have peace. You will have more peace to be able to do more things, to live a better life, to make more money, to do well at your place of work. So ensure you prioritize this course and make sure it's something that is up there, right up there on your priority list. It has been so good talking to every one of you today. It has been our Friday Live. In case you are just joining us for the first time here, please do subscribe to this channel, click the notification button, and ensure that all the videos that we put out there, you see them immediately they come out. I hope you've learned something here today. If you've learned something, put it in the comment section what you have learned. If you have a question, put it in the comment section. Put your questions in the comment section. I have a few minutes left so that I can quickly attend to them before we close today. Every Friday we come like this, and just between the hours of 11 and 12, 1 hour, we sit down and we have this beautiful educative class on marriage. I hope that as you have come here, for those of you who have come for the first time, that you'll come over and over again. And I can see already people saying that I have learned to forgive in advance. Thank you very much for picking that. What else have you learned in this course today? My name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor, founder of the Marriage Skill Academy. And I invite you also to join us in the Couples Conclave program, the 1-year program that we run for couples, married couples. This year, we have over 500 couples registered in the Couples Conclave. And it's a place for accountability and for you to rejuvenate your marriage continuously. So ensure you reach out to the numbers on your screen, and they'll give you all the details that you need so that you can actually register for the 2026 edition of the Couples Conclave. This is where we're going to be signing out. I can't see any questions there in the comment section. So I'm going to be signing out right now and see you again next Friday for another edition of the Friday Live. I leave you with this short clip to watch. Watch this clip and God bless you. Have a lovely weekend. Bliss and joy.
But we still sleep on the same bed.
I've learned to keep things to myself just for the sake of peace.
We avoid conflict so much that we've lost connection.
I don't even feel like we love each other anymore.
We need help, but you will never admit to it.
Anytime I try to explain myself, he misunderstands me.
I'm exhausted from all the shouting.
I've stopped trying. What's the point?
There you have it. Different words, same root cause, unresolved conflict. When issues pile up in marriage and they are not addressed, peace fades, love disappears, and even silence replaces connection.
Here is the good news. You can learn the right skills. Register for the course, Resolving Conflict in Marriage, which will be facilitated by a renowned marriage counselor, Kunle Ologe.
Guy, I'm getting ready to go home. Are you going home?
Nah, I just have something I need to finish first.
Finish? I've been noticing that you don't like going home lately. What's going on?
Honestly, I don't feel like going home now. That's just...
Why?
Lately, me and my wife have been having lots of issues. And every time I go home, it always ends up in a quarrel. So I don't have the strength for that. So let me just take my time to.
I get it. I was in this kind of situation a few months back.
So what changed?
Oh, my wife and I attended a course called Resolving Conflict in Marriage. That in just 2 days, we learn how to resolve all conflicts in our marriage.
Just 2 days?
Yes, trust me. If you attend that course, your marriage will change.
I think I'm interested in this course.
This Resolving Conflict in Marriage course is a course that will help you. It will help you learn how to be calm in the midst of every storm.
Is that 11-month accountability and rejuvenation program of the Marriage Seal Academy. In this program, we bring couples together from all over the world to join hands, learn, and be taught on the things that you need to do to make sure your marriage is always on fire. It begins every year in January all through to November of the same year. We take a break in December and start again the next January. One of the things that you get to do in the Couples Conclave is that every single day there is a tip on marriage that is shared to all the couples. Every week we have a bonding activity that helps couples to come together and bond. Every month we give one master class on one particular aspect of marriage. And once every year we have a physical retreat where we take ourselves to a resort and have a nice time for a few days. We've had retreats in Abuja, in Lagos, and we're going to have the next one in Uyo. Over the past 4 years that we have had this couples conclave, we've had a lot of testimonials from couples who come in as maybe fighters in some cases, and then they eventually become lovers because they've come to learn what it is that they have not known on marriage. There's so much that you can learn in marriage, and the Couples Conclave creates that community where you can come and create that culture of the right marriage, the way God ordained it to be. My name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor, founder of the Marriage Seal Academy, and I am the chief host of the Couples Conclave. Join us for the 2026 Couples Conclave program. Registration details are immediately after this. Bliss and joy.